Hey, what's going on, everybody? I've got an update here on the stimulus payment status tracker on the IRS website. It seems like a lot of people are getting this payment status not available, and it's very frustrating because it's happening to people who have filed a 2018 and or 2019 tax return, otherwise qualify for the payment, and are trying to figure out, I need to either put in my direct deposit information, or I might need to update my address, or I just want to check on the status of my payment. Now, a lot of people have already received these payments, but if you're still wondering where yours is, it could be that they're going to send you a paper check because they don't have your direct deposit information, in which case you're supposed to be able to use this link to update that information. It could also be because you didn't file a return in 2018 or 2019, and there's a link for people who don't need to file but need to get the IRS their information. There is also the possibility that you didn't file 2018 or 2019 but should have, in which case your only option is to file your tax return as soon as possible. You're not able to use the non-filer status because you are required to file a tax return. You just need to get one or both of those tax returns in as soon as possible. Now, for those of you who are getting this message and it just simply doesn't make sense, I've looked at a couple articles and there's a few reasons here that I will give you. One of them, it says several million people who had filed their taxes with H&R Block and TurboTax were unable to get their payments because the IRS did not have their direct deposit information on file. I don't know, why that is, but for some reason, if you use those, it's possible the IRS did not actually have your direct deposit information on file, even if it was with your tax return originally. There's no explanation on why that is, but that was one of the cases. They say that that problem is fixed. So if you think that that's your issue because you used H&R Block or TurboTax, that problem is supposedly fixed now. The next one is the IRS said there was a system overload. So the quote from the IRS on that one is, what happened is instead of having an error message or a message saying the system is busy, it simply said that the information wasn't there. That was a direct quote from someone from Treasury or IRS. So instead of getting a busy message, it just said, we don't have your information. So that was very confusing because it wasn't that they don't actually have your information. It was just that their system was overloaded and the default message was that one. A couple of other comments here from the IRS. It said that perhaps if you have filed your 2019 return, but it has not been processed yet, then you will get that error message. So, that's a pretty simple, straightforward explanation. If you recently filed, probably anytime within the last week or two, it's taken them about a week or two to process the current year tax returns to get refunds out from my experience. And so, if you filed within the last week or two, that's probably another good reason why you're getting that message, is because it has not processed your 2019 tax return. Now, the last one, and this one I don't have a good solution for, it says, perhaps you're incorrectly inputting your information. So of course you could have mistyped in your last name, or you could have mistyped in your AGI, your adjusted gross income, and asked for that. But the big one, the key one, is you could have possibly mistyped in your address. And the problem with the address is it's hard to know exactly how that is on file with the IRS. So you might want to go back and look at last year's tax return and type it in exactly how it was in your tax return. For instance, if you abbreviated street or wrote street out, if you abbreviated SW or you put periods in, all of these things, if the address is slightly different, according to one of these articles who has talked to an IRS spokesperson, it's quite possible that that's kicking it out is because you don't have the address typed in exactly the way that the IRS has it. So best thing I can say there is just try to go back to your tax return and type it in exactly how it is on that one. So hopefully one of these issues is why you're getting that status, and it's still frustrating, but hopefully that will help shed a little bit of light on why you're getting this payment status not available issue happening. So just keep trying and see if you can eventually get that information to pop up for you. Thanks.